Laughing Jack is the titular main antagonist of the creepypasta story of the same name. He's a sadistic killer clown who was originally an imaginary friend to a little boy, that is until the boy forgot about him. Follow his story through being made, forgotten, and becoming a sadistic killer clown who now seeks to murder young children. Origin. Created by a guardian angel, Laughing Jack was initially a colorful jack-in-the-box clown, whose personality reflected the personality of his owners. He was later sent as a Christmas present to a lonely boy named Isaac Grossman in the 1800s. Isaac then abandoned Laughing Jack after being sent to boarding school. Laughing Jack grew monochrome and emotionless as a result of his isolation. Meanwhile, Isaac grew up to become a cold-hearted serial killer who kidnapped, tortured, and murdered several innocent neighborhood residents. Although horrified at first, Laughing Jack's personality soon emulated Isaac's evil personality. One day, Laughing Jack was accidentally released, and he appeared to be a taller, darker, and demonic version of himself. Resentful of his traitorous owner, he tortured and killed Isaac with the same weapons he used on his victims. As time passed, Laughing Jack visited several other children, most of them lonely or neglected, and pretended to be their imaginary friend. However, he would eventually torture and kill them all, with their souls trapped in the nightmarish realm of an abandoned fairground. To make matters worse, the song "Pop Goes the Weasel" plays in the background forever, tormenting them. Appearance. Laughing Jack used to be a colorful, tan-skinned clown who would wear a brilliant rainbow attire with shaggy red hair and a long cone nose. After being abandoned for 13 years, his appearance changed to being completely monochrome, leaving him almost demonic-looking. Personality. At first, Laughing Jack was an innocent, sweet, and pure-hearted angelic creation who tried his best to comfort Isaac, considering how lonely he was. However, Isaac's late actions significantly affected in a particularly negative way the gift, which became more and more disturbed and psychotic with time. Laughing Jack, originally colored, lost his hues as Isaac's actions corrupted it. Eventually, Laughing Jack became totally black and white as he reached the point of non-return and fully embraced his demonic form. Currently, Laughing Jack presents itself as a figure of pure evilness, remorseless and violent in its very core, who take pleasure in killing and torturing those he was once designed to protect: children. Powers and abilities. Laughing Jack is a magical being with incredible dark magical powers, being able to teleport in an instant in a puff of pitch black smoke, turn himself invisible, and being able to mutilate the bodies of his victims. Jack is also able to create nightmares and visual hallucinations, presumably to parents, such as he did in the original story, and can use telekinesis to move objects with his mind, making his victims seem crazy. Other stories. In an unspecified year in the modern era, Laughing Jack visited a lonely suburban 5-year-old boy named James, under the guise of an imaginary friend. James told his mother, but she dismissed it as a phase. One night, his mother had a nightmare, witnessing the souls of Laughing Jack's past victims in an abandoned fairground. The next day, Laughing Jack places James's action figures on top of his mother's nightstand, presumably as a way to taunt her. She questions James, but he simply tells her the truth, much to her disbelief. Later, James receives a handful of candy from Laughing Jack in the garden. His mother notices this and demands him to tell her how he got it. James, again, tells her the truth, but she assumes that one of the next-door neighbors gave him the candy. Laughing Jack eventually kills Fido, the family dog, hangs its body on the kitchen light fixtures, and trashes the rest of the kitchen. He also guts its stomach open and replaces it with candy. The mother witnessed this and took her son next door, where she called the police. The police dismisses it as a robbery, but the mother refutes their assertions, claiming that all the doors were locked and none of the windows were open during the incident. She presumes that whoever did this was already inside her house prior to the incident. They both return home, and the mother decides to check on her son via the baby monitor. The mother hears a soft moan and enters James's room, where she sees her son nailed on the wall, disemboweled with his eyes gouged and tongue and teeth removed. She also sees Laughing Jack, in his true monstrous form, who sadistically cackles at the sight of his work. Having enough, the mother grabbed a knife and tried to kill Laughing Jack, but he simply vanished into a black cloud. This distracted the mother, causing her to accidentally plunge her knife into James's beating heart instead, killing him instantly. The police arrest her and send her to the Firopoulos house for the criminally insane. She claims that being institutionalized is not that bad, despite noting that somebody, presumably Laughing Jack, keeps playing Pop Goes the Weasel outside her room. Facts: Laughing Jack was created by Steve Akins, and he appears in the stories Laughing Jack and The Origin of Laughing Jack. It is unknown just what the creature of Laughing Jack is, with popular suggestions being a demon or even a demigod, although he started off as a normal, magical imaginary friend, eliminating these two options. Since he's imaginary, he's ageless. Laughing Jack is like a rag doll and has no internal organs or genitals. His chest is filled with stuffing and his costume is part of his body. Jack solely targets young children as his victims. He's extremely dangerous. Laughing Jack is a vile, twisted and sick creature who both kills children and breaks their parents' minds. He's a monster that is fully capable of mutilating and violently murdering anybody he deems as worthy to be his friend.